Ramesh, it's his inimitable style. That's how he operates and the way he speaks. You never know what's coming. And so, to a certain extent, what we saw today was, as Samir pointed out, relatively harmless. What do you make of what he said on energy, though? What are the implications? He's said, in his words, drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Couple of points. First, the US already produces 13 million barrels of oil a day. They want to increase it by 3 million barrels. It's going to be an extremely tall order to increase it by 3 million barrels. What will it do to the price? What will it do to the existing producers? So I think that's a bit of wishful thinking. But let me explain why I think Trump's economic policies are a bit muddled. He campaigned against China and against TikTok, against it, till he became for it, because one of his campaign financiers is for TikTok. But on the same hand, an ally of the US, Japan, the strongest ally of the United States has probably in the region today, they wanted to make a bid to take over US steel. And he has said he will refuse that bid taking place in America. Though the bid is at $53, then the price is $35 currently, so shareholders will make money, though the unemployment is very minimal, citing national security risks. Now, it's hard for me to understand how Japan poses a national security risk, but China does not. So his economic policies are muddled to begin with. And I think as he moves into the reality of governing, as they say in America, that you elect in prose, in poetry, but you govern in prose, the reality of everyday governing is probably going to get to him with tariffs and the zero reduction game that he's talking about. America does not become great by diminishing other countries. America becomes great by pushing other countries along.
No, inflation and focus on inflation is the big thing. Withdrawing from EV, the energy push is the one big thing that we can see now, apart from immigration. But Mr. Damani, the other thing that he wants to do is free up trade, which is why bank stocks have been running in the US. What is the kind of outlook and picture now we can see in terms of bond yields? What's happening with inflation and where that movement and the dollar will move, because that's really the direct and very obvious impact for us.
Well, I think if you take him at his word, I guess Samir is right. You don't take him very seriously or very literally. You take him seriously, but not literally. Okay. But if he follows through on his economic policy, and I think at some point he's going to follow through on tariffs and tax cuts, these are the things that he's been running on. They are both inflationary. And I think the bond yields are suggesting that it will be an inflationary environment in America to begin with. Now, you can't go against the law of economics and say that these policies are inflationary, but are asked the Fed to reduce interest rates. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think we're going to come into a brave new world. I think since World War II, and particularly since 1989, the US has led the world forward. The march has been long and narrow, straight path. But for the first time, I think the world is making economically a U-turn. We're going back to a mercantilist policy, a protectionist policy, anti-global policy. And if I can only paraphrase Rudyard Kipling, what does he know of America, who only America knows? I think he understands the pulse of the American people, but my sense is that Trump doesn't understand the role that America has played in shaping the world we live in today. And I think there'll be a price to pay for it down the road.